All right. I'm gonna start from scratch. All right. I'm gonna start from scratch. Okay. All right. First thing first. Um, and if you don't mind me repeating this, I'm gonna start from scratch. Right. Thank you for reminding me. Okay. So first thing first, you start top down analysis. Right. Top down analysis where you start from the monthly and you go down to the 1 hour. Right. So I'm gonna add this monthly high right here. And I'm gonna add this monthly low right here. I'm gonna add the low right here and trap it in between this one monthly candle, right? Going down to the weekly. I'm gonna add the most recent weekly low or weekly rejection. Weekly rejection area right here. Put it in between and right there. Drop down to the daily. Right here. I don't know if we need this yet, but right here. Okay, that's cool. This is just a quick. This is just a quick run through it. So I just want to make sure I get the most important levels. All right, 4 hour right here, 4 hour here, and there's some below this. We're not gonna use those yet. I'll just add this one. Okay. All right. So this is good for what we need it for. We can go in and clean this up, but we're not worried about so much the markups right now. Okay. But to just reiterate some things, let me zoom out and I want to show you something regarding the candles themselves, right? So each day, the majority of the volume happens on certain candles, right? On the 4 hour candles and on the rest of the candle, but majority of the volume can be measured on certain candles. That's why I kind of trade New York only, right? New York and any other times outside of that is not common for me to trade that time, right? But if you notice, each time measuring the volume measures the a number of orders that came in for this given time frame, right? So for this particular given time frame, if you look over here to my right here, this is the volume measure right here, and it shows you how much volume has come in at any given candle, right? So over here, 31.557K came in on this candle. Over here, 33.347K came in on this candle. And you notice that it keeps moving as I go throughout. Like right now, I'm at 28, it's 19, 28 and 19, and then 2000, right? Or 2.289, right? So that's why it's important to remember these candles, because these candles are the majority of the trading, right? And it's certain time frames that certain times when these candles come into play. During the London session, it is the one on TradingView. On on TradingView, and I have to note this on TradingView because it's different on MetaTrader. On TradingView, it is the 1 o'clock candle, 5 a.m. candle, and the 9 a.m. candle. MT4 is the 2 a.m. candle, 6 a.m. candle, and 10 a.m. candle, right? That's the one thing, right? These are the candles we focus on, right? So I'm gonna give the rules first, and then I'll explain it with examples. You mark up from the top down and marking up from top down means from the monthly to the 1 hour. All these time frames I'm talking about are Eastern. Eastern. It's rule 1. 2. You're only focusing on focusing on these.
Stanley Coach Steve. I'm a chemical weapons specialist for the FBI.
Okay. Only focusing on these candles, right? 3. Let me make this a little, put it all on one line. And also on TradingView, that 2 a.m. candle looks like it's a 2 a.m. or this is 1300. And then this is 1700. Oops. Right. So that's the candles on TradingView. Yeah, everything is Eastern Standard Time. Everything is Eastern. Right. So next, apply this rule only when you're near a zone. Right? None of this that we going over applies if you're not near a zone. If you're in the middle of structure, then none of this will apply. You won't even pay attention to this, right? Okay. Next, come accustomed with the fact that these candles are the candles that move the market the most, right? So the majority of the moves that we get come on one of these or between these 3 candles each day when you're trading indices. And this not only applies to indices, but sometimes the candles, I mean, the pairs that follow the indices, this applies to them as well, right? So these are other ones that these are the things you want to keep in consideration, right? Okay, so your overall view should come from the 4-hour chart, right? But your entries are going to come from the 15-minute chart. And sometimes the 5, but most of the time from the 15-minute, right? Get comfortable with understanding how candles move. And I'll explain that. Okay. These are the main reason. These are the main topics right now, and the main points for so far. I'll have to show examples for the rest of them, right? So when you're in a zone, right? You're in a zone, and we got highs and lows happening. We got highs right here. We got lows right here, right? The majority of the time, when you're near one of these highs like this, or these lows like this, and you are on one of these candles right here, generally you're going to have a move that either breaks through this or pushes up from one of these candles, right? So at any given time, when you're at one of these highs or lows and you're in between one of these candles, you can expect that there's going to be a breakout or there's going to be a retest or a rejection from there, right? And you can use these 3 candles to determine the direction of that in a lot of cases, right? Especially when you have already seen what the first 2 have done. If these first 2 candles, the 1 a.m. and the 5 a.m. or the 2 a.m. and the 6 a.m. on MetaTrader have shown you distinct movement, you can typically use this 9 a.m. or this 10 a.m. candle to get into your trades, right? Or you can use the 5 a.m. or the 6 a.m. candle to get in your trades, right? Because those candles will give you a distinct notion as to what the market is about to do by just watching the 4-hour candles, right? And again, these are the candles we were talking about, right? We don't even have to see, I don't have to see these candles in most cases to know that this is where all the movement come from, right? And this candle is the candles for the London, not the London, but the Tokyo. These 2 candles are Tokyo and Sydney session right here. Then this one bigger red candle, this candle is larger than these 2 in most cases. This is the London open, right? Then we follow with a little lag in the volume. Then we get the New York candles right here. That's these 2 candles. So these 2 combined with this one New York candle will typically give you the direction, right? You got lower than expected over here. Then you got London open. Then you got a dip, and then you got New York. So it's these 3 candles are those candles, right? This day, it didn't give you much. Maybe, yeah, this one didn't give you a lot of movement, but even still, these 3 candles were the most volume right here and into this last one, right? This day was flat. This day was flat. This day was kind of slow, but still most volume came, right? So now let's look at what the importance is on the chart, right? The importance of this on the chart is this, right? We can just pick random charts, random points, right? Okay. So this is my London candle right here, right? We broke out from this high over here, pushed all the way up, right? On the London candle, right? We focusing on these three candles inside of the box. So this one, and this one, right? If we focus solely on these three candles right here, where we have, this is the London, this is the following, this is the opening, right? We already see that we have a slowing in the market right here on this candle, right? Then we see that we have indecision on this candle, right? Because we near this high already, which is probably something we can pull from a time back, right? We already know there's rejection right here at this level already. So we would have already had this level marked off anyway. And we can use this to understand that this is likely not to break because one, we have confirmation from a previous structure rejection. And our 4-hour candles are telling us that now that we're up here, we are likely not to break this, right? Because we have the slowing right here, we have indecision right here, and this is where you take your entry, right? So once we realize this, right? Once we realize this from the 4-hour perspective, we can drop down to the 15-minute, right back where we were. Hold on. This is where we get our entry, right? We got our high during this candle. This is our high of the previous candle, right? We already start to see we got rejection, right? And now all we have to do is we can be as I've been as confident as to calling trades from at the tops and the bottoms of these levels because of this strategy, right? Because I know if I start to see the rejection, I know that I can get a push down, right? Even if it doesn't push down immediately, but because of that understanding what these candles are telling me near this zone from the 4-hour, I can drop down to the 15-minute and get my entry and my exits from there, right? I can show you another example.
So Corey, excuse me. So
Yep.
you start looking for the 9 a.m. candle. So around the last hour of the 5 a.m. candle, so about 8 o'clock, you start looking at the 15-minute to see what the candles are doing to know where you're entering.
Yep. Yep. Sometimes it depends. You know, an example like I showed earlier before I started recording, that was an example where I would have probably entered before that, you know. Let me see if I can find that area. Look at this. Hold on. I bet this is one of those candles too. It's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Here's an example of right here where we would take a reversal trade, right? So right here, we know we near a zone. This on the 4-hour, right? And the question is always whether or not do we think this is gonna break below and continue down or reject, right? For this 4-hour time frame, we see on this candle, this is the London candle, right? This is the London candle. It opened up, it dropped, you took this trade, right? Now, when we are about to get ready to trade, we can see we got rejection, right? Rejection off of this candle, right? If we drop down to the 15-minute, we can see from the 15-minute that we can take a reversal for this pushback up instead of getting faked out to think that this is going to drop. Because on the 15-minute, you'll see where this stacks up. So a lot of times you see me when I'm trading like this because I want to see the 15-minute over here. I want to see the 1 hour over here, and I want to see the 4 hour right here so I can see how all of this is lining up, right? And when I'm seeing that, I can see, okay, this is on the 15-minute is agreeing with what the 4 hour saying near this level, right? And I can take that trade, right? I can even go as far as moving it over here, right? So 5 o'clock, right? The next day, right? I'm near structure high right here, right? Look at what I'm doing right here with the same candles. This is it right here. This is these candles right here. These 3 candles, right? I'm in this. I noticed London. London tell me I'm selling, right? This following candle tells me I'm selling, but I'm rejecting, right? This then this is in the middle of the zone, right? So I can't take this trade the same way I just did, right? We're not near a zone. We're in the middle of 2 different zones. So I wouldn't use that for this strategy, right? This is an example of when not to use it, right? Because we're in the middle, right? London pushed us too far down to take this for a continuation. We would have to use a break and retest setup over here during this at this point, right? Another example of when it is working is right here. This one right here. Yep. Okay. This low near this zone, right? Yeah. Yeah. Let me show you. So we'll work on. Let me just do them side by side. All right. This will be the 15-minute right here. And then this will be 4 hour right here. Okay. So we'll focus on, let's look at this one. Okay, yeah, this is a good example right here. Near rejection, right? Let me find that on area right there. Okay. So I think we right here, right? Okay, cool. So same area right here and right here, right? The candles we need to focus on are on in between here, right? These are the candles we need to focus on. So let's zoom in, right? Can you try this tomorrow morning? If I see it, I will. I always do. I always trade like this if I see it, right? And I combine this with like some other setups as well. Like, you know, a lot of times I'll check this first before I start trading. Like before I start trading, I'll come back and see like what's going on with these 4 hour, these 3 candles to see what's going on, right? But okay, so here is how I would interpret this, right? London dropped me right here. The following candle pushed me down but rejected, right? So Because I'm getting this rejection on the 4 hour near this zone, what am I seeing on the 15 minute, right? What am I seeing on the 15 minute? I'm seeing on the 15 minute that it pushed me all the way down here. Because I see this wick rejection right here, and I know on the 4 hour that is rejecting, I can be confident a lot more to take this and push this up, right? In comparison, right? I'm near a level, I'm near a low. I've already pushed down. I've held it right here on these three same candles, right? These are the same candles on the previous day, right? These same three candles, right? Wick, it rejected this low, rejected this low, rejected it and pushed up. I'm back at that same area on the same candles, right? Pushed down, rejected hard, and then pushed up, right? If I'm looking at an area that's breaking, right? It's an area that broke, right? Looking at it from an area that broke, right? This area right here. And then we focus on these three candles. Right? Where am I? Right? I'm near a high, right? This candle gave you two options, right? This candle gave you the option to buy and sell on this candle, but this was telling you it was a buy from this 4 hour candle, this 4 hour candle, right? So we look at that time frame on the 15 minute, we could have had the option to sell it down to here or buy from here. But if we sitting on our hands, this would have been a good buy to get into this entry, right? So this one was an okay example, but this told you two different things because of this candle right here. So there was probably some news or something like that on this candle. Probably some news that altered this candle formation, right? So we back here. Here's the next high. We're near highs right here, right? Focus back on these candles, right? Between these three candles, right? This was the move, right? This was the London. This was the following candle. I would even be confident to say with this move right here that because I know I'm near this high right here, if this wick up close to this high, I would take sometimes entries from the top of this wick to get into this move right here because I'm seeing it. This is 8 hours of movement right here. 8 hours, 12 if you add in the next candle, right? So for 8 hours prior to this, I'm pushing up, I'm pushing up, I'm pushing up. I get rejection right here for 4 hours, right? I started getting rejection on this candle, but for 4 hours for sure, I got rejection. People trying to sell this, right? Another 4 hours, I get rejection. People trying to sell this, right? This told everybody during New York session that the market's trying to sell from right here, right? And guess what happens? It opens up and it drops, right? If I was paying attention to this morning, which I apologize, I would have got us into this trade from here, right? I could have cleaned this up. I had already trapped price, right? This morning, I had already trapped the price, right? Look at what happened. And this is why you gotta, even when you have a bad day, you gotta go back and review what happened because you can notice stuff that you could have took advantage of, right? And it reiterates what you need to understand and learn, right? It reiterates that, right? You got the London candle right here. The London candle is telling you it's indecisive, right? It looks like it wants to buy from this low that's right here. Looks like it's telling you it wants to buy from this low right here, right? We even got some wick rejection from the previous 9 o'clock candle, right? But this candle from London says, I don't think I want to go any lower, right? The following candle over here says, I don't think I want to go any lower, right? What happens on the New York candle? It agrees with this level, right? It agrees with these two candles, right? So what does it do? It pushes down on the open and says, I'm going to follow the rest of these two candles, and then I can buy up from here. On the 15-minute, what does this look like? This looks like me getting into an entry right here instead of getting into it from right here for the break, right? Because now I know that once I see that price is down near this area, we know that it wants to buy from here. We know that it wants to buy from here. So if it gets down there and it starts to wick again on the 15-minute, like it did right here, right around this area, right back with the rest of these equal lows, I can say, I can call a buy and take the trade from here. In this case, it would have worked out like it's supposed to, right? So that's 1, 2, bad example, 2 good examples, 1 bad example, another good example right here, another good example right here. Let's look at this day. Got a little rejection right here. We got rejection. We got a zone, little rejection zone right here. We can add another one right here, right? Okay. The next 4-hour candles for this, the 4-hour candles from this day, that goes right here, then here, right? Here's your zone right here, right? So let's read this. London says it wants to push up, right? But we're not, we're in the middle of this, right? So this London, we can't read London, right? We really can't read this 6 o'clock candle, right? This candle, because guess what? It's not near a zone, right? It's in the middle of these two levels. So we can't use this strategy, right? We can't use it on this example, right? Because in between this zone and this zone, most of this candle is here. And when it closed out, it closed in the middle of this, right? So we can't use this. But what did the day before tell us? If we had used this same strategy the day before, we would have been able to catch this right here to tell us what's going on, right? Pushed up, rejected, pushed up, rejected. Sell it from here, right? Now we back here on this day, same candles, but this is reacting to these same 3 candles over here. So if it pushes up and doesn't close above, or it fakes above, we can still use these 3 candles to take the sell from here, to sell it off down here. So this is an example of when it didn't work based off of these candles, but based off of these candles from the day before, we could have got our entry from the high to reject it for take it for the sale, right? Another example. This level right here. We already sold this, right? This went into consolidation. So of course, this won't be as clean or as smooth, right? This went sideways for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11 different candles. This was sideways. Nothing to trade off of, right? No zones. We got this high, we got this high, but most of this just went sideways. So we can't use this area. Yes, this only applies to price when it's near a zone. Only applies to when it's near a zone. And you are looking for breaks of structure, breaks of a zone, breakouts of the zones, or you're looking at rejections of zones, where we are looking at for the most of these examples right here so far, right? But even here, right? 4 hours of selling, right? Here's the London candle during these 3 candles, right? 1, 2, 3. We got it in between these candles right here. We're near this low, right? Price came back down to this low, right? So London sold us down. The following candle pushed us up. This candle immediately opened up and then dropped and started to push us down, right? But going to the same time on the 15-minute, this is the 14. Yep, right here. Same time, right? London pushed us down from here to here, right? This area between this area is the 6 o'clock candle. This pushes us down immediately when New York opens and then starts to reject. We can see it reject on the 15, on the 5-minute, that to know we can take this up for a buy. We're near there. We see it rejecting for 8 hours, for 4 hours right here. And we see that it rejects to push down to take it back up to near these highs. This is a good example right here, right? So let me paste this. Oops, where did it go?
But in that example, you would take that buy off that first rejection at the zone, correct?
Yep. Hang on. Let me go back to where it was. 14. Right here.
So looking at the 15-minute, when price comes back up to the zone and then rejects, then you would take it, buy it up.
From here.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I once I see this move right here rejecting, it pushed up, came back down and rejected. I'm looking to take entries from here. This is where my stop loss is underneath here.
Okay.
And I'm taking it up from there. Right. This is, it works really, really good with reversals and rejections. Like you know, it works great for reversals, rejections, and breakouts as well. Like breakouts, this works good. It just kind of gives you a map to kind of tell where to trade. Like, because I know a lot of you guys sometimes be in there like, is it a buy? Is it a sell? You know, is it going to sell off? Is it going to do this and do that? Right. But this will help you to kind of draw attention to the direction of where you should trade, right? Here's another example. It's probably a zone in between here somewhere, right? This probably broke out from a zone. So let's see what, yeah, of course, this 2,700. 2,700 is right here. So of course there's a zone right here, right? There's a zone right here, right? Here is this example. This is an example of a break. We're looking at these 3 candles right here. Right? We already know 2700 is a natural zone in itself, right? Right? So London told us it wants to buy, right? The following candle says there's indecision, right? But this candle opens up, pushes down to reject. Let's go find this on the 15-minute right here. So on the 15-minute, this same area right here, all of this is pushing up. This candle right here, this motion right here, this sell-off right here is the sell-off that drops it to make this candle right here. And then this candle opens up on the 9 candle, drops down, and then pushes up. We can be confident to say this is going to buy because we got this push down and rejection on the 4-hour while you're seeing it on the 15-minute, right? To take it for a continuation. This candle, same thing, rinse and repeat. Pull it over here, right? These 3, 1, 2, 3, right? I made a zone over here. Once I got this high, I made a zone, right? Right above here. This move made the zone high up here, right? This is my 1 o'clock. This is my 5. This pushed me down, right? Then this pushed me down even further, but it rejected, right? It rejected. So the next candle, I'm watching it. I'm going to let it open up. It pushes down. I know that once it pushed down, I've already seen rejection from down here, right? So once it pushed down, which is this move right here, this move right here, and this move right here, I can be confident to take it up because I've seen that there's buying from down here. I've seen that there's buyers from down here. This move was a little risky though. This one was a little risky because this left you with drawdown potential all the way back down here. But it did work out, right? Everything's not 100% perfect, but it still gave you what you were looking for. If you left it alone and used a different entry strategy, you could have sold it off of this because the London said sell it. If you were up for this 6 a.m. candle, you could have took the sell because this had already told you that it was going to sell on the London candle. And then the following candle told you you could have sold too, right? On that candle, you could have took it down to this low, right? And would have been ready for this buy as well. This was another ABC setup, 0 A, B, C to the move right here. This gave you that setup on these 2 candles alone, right? This gave you an additional entry if you wanted to take it from there, right? This is what it looked like on the 15-minute. You got the push up, the rejection, right? Then I have the impulse back up on this candle that dropped us once we got near this area right here. Once we got near this area, right? So on the 15-minute, this is what you'll be focusing on, right? This area right here. You've seen that this London candle dropped you, right? And when it dropped you with this kind of large institutional candles right here on the 15-minute, this is telling you, okay, cool, they dropping it, right? You wait for it to swing up back near these highs right here. You take your entry to drop it down, right? Because you already got 4 hours of selling. Now you're starting you're in your 5th hour when this opens up. At the beginning of this candle right here, your body opens up around here and then it pushes up. It pushes up. Once you look and drop down to the 15-minute and you see that it's rejecting, just like this candle did, you see that it's rejecting over here on this candle right here, you know you can sell it to push it down. And then if you're already in this sell, you know you can take, you know you should be expecting to take profit near this zone, right? So you can close out right here, already be in this, be thinking buy. You can already be switching this to a buy without having to be concerned, right? You already know that you're near where it should be pushing back up from and take your buy. If you don't feel confident taking the buy right here, you got to swing up and another swing back down to take the buy from here, right? And to keep the buy for this continuation. The next day, same zone, same event right here. Here is trap the nose, same zone, same event, right? This candle pushed down. This is the candle that says I am rejecting, right? So if you come to the 9 o'clock candle, right? The 9 o'clock candle over here, where are we at? Is this it? Yep, right here. The London candle pushed us down, right? It pushed us up, pushed us down, right? The following candle pushed us up, pushed us down, right? Now, once we get back to this area on the 15-minute, we see that it starts to reject near the low of this same area, right? What do I know I can do? I know I can buy this now. So I can buy this. I'm in this move so early, I can take this whole move up from right here, from this low, all the way up from this area right here. I can stay in this trade for days, right? Because of I'm reacting to this. And if you took this trade from down here, you're still in this trade as well, right? You don't even have to get out of this, right? You're in from here, you're in from here, right? Same type of event over here. Where we at? We near a zone, right? We near a zone. Let me find this. Okay. We just broke from this zone the previous day, right? Using the same concept, right? Previous day. These 4 candles. 3 candles, I mean. These 3 candles. 13, 1, 5, 9. Okay. These 3 candles. You even can add this one on that day. So this was more than 3 candles, but same concept though, right? This is the London candle. When it opened up, it pushed up and rejected, right? It pushed down here, rejected. Close right here, right? The following candle opened up, it pushed all the way down, it rejected. Close right here. This candle opened up, pushed down, rejected, and bought from here. So now this near zone, this confirms what I already understood to be the case, and now I'm selling it, right? So everybody wondering, like, why was I still in, let's open up SPX, right? You won't be able to see it yet because it's still in the early stages, but I use a different concept to enter this trade, right? But this works the same way on SPX, right? Same way on SPX. There's no difference, right? I'm near the zone right here. Here is the London candle over here. So these three candles right here. This is the zone right here. Right here, right? And then this is a zone that was made right here, right? We already know we broke out from this zone, right? So if we replay this, let's replay this, right? Okay. Because we haven't been here before, we already know that certain levels are going to naturally be rejection, right? When you're dealing with SPX, your whole numbers, so 3,400 was a rejection area. 3,425 was a rejection area. 3,450 a rejection area. 3,475 a rejection area. 3,500 is your next pivotal rejection area, right? So because we never been here before, that's how we have to look at it, right? So let's go back down to some things, right? London buying, the next candle buying. Even though this opened up like this, right? I would still be saying buy because London and the following candle told me to buy. I might not get it when it opened, but I know that at some point I get the opportunity to buy it, right? To buy it, to push it up, right? So when it gets down here, maybe I got to look at it from the 1 hour, right? But let me go back up here to show you this example. We're going to go slow instead. So let me go back. Hang on. Right here, right? So let's go back, right? And pay attention to how the candles open, right? So this candle open, it pushed down. This is the London candle right here. This candle open, push up. Sorry, this candle open, it pushed down, then it pushed up and closed back right here. This is the 5 o'clock candle, 6 a.m. candle. Yeah, 5 o'clock. Let me see, 5 o'clock candle. This candle opened up, pushed down immediately. Then we got our rejection. I'm watching this now because I'm near this low. These candles sold me down, right? And rejected me from here, right? I already know that I'm near this area, right? So if on the 4 hour, I'm seeing that it's rejecting, I can come to the 15-minute to get my entry, right? Open up, push down. The next set of this one says I want to buy. This one open up, it pushed down. Now it's saying it wants to buy. Bam, the 9 o'clock candle does it. This series right here, near this level right here.
Corey,
Yep.
quick question. So that red candle that had pushed down,
Hmm.
I'm just noticing like that seems like it was a retracement because that was an imbalance before. You see what I'm talking about? Go back. Yeah, that one with the long wick.
Right here.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Would you say that was a retracement to pick up the imbalance that was before, the two blue ones?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. But that's a different concept. This just looking at this strategy was something that I decided to like work on to try to simplify everything for people, right? Because like all you need to do is understand how to put your zones, right? You understand how to put your zones, and then if you can understand how to read these three candles, and you take your entry from the 15-minute. That's the simplest way I can put it. You learn, understand the zones, understand these three candles, what they mean and what they mean to the market, and then you take your entries from the 15-minute. You do whatever these three candles tell you to do, right? Even in this circumstance, right? This rejected from a zone high. This followed it by rejecting near that, right? What do we do when we see this open up? Reject it and sell it, right? 8 hours between these two candles. So this 8 hours of the majority of the traders coming into the market between these three candles right here. The majority of them, right? So if I could consistently pay attention to these areas, why am I not going to do this, right? Now, I know this works on US 30, it works on NAS, it works on SPX. I haven't tested it on, I've only tested it on indices, right? To be 100% about it. Only indices I've tested this on. And I can be confident probably about 80 to 90% of the way and say that any pair that correlates with the indices, you can apply the same rule, right? So I'm going to go out on a limb and say, because I know GJ follows the indices, I can do this same thing with GJ. So the first thing, we already got some zones. We'll just use these for example, right? Now, mind you, I haven't looked at this under this concept, but I know this correlates, right? Now, what are the hourly candles over here, right? GJ, right? These are, this is the London candle, right? We would probably say we got a zone above here, but this is marked up for something different. So I can't use this area. This is marked up for an accumulation zone. And I don't want to mess that up. So let's go to a different area. That one is too. Let's go back a little further. May. Okay.
You don't want to go to FX broker instead of Wanda? You change the broker?
That's a good. That's my dog.
I got you, bro.
Okay. All right. Top down analysis. We can move you to current price. I haven't even tried this on here on GJ, but like I said, we know that it follows the indices, right? right, in the 1 hour. Did I miss anything? Yep. These highs right here. This low right here. All right. Zoned up, right? And let me add this into, got a high right here. Got a low right here. This on the 1 hour, right? And then we got one right here, over here, right? Okay. We'll focus on this area, right? So now we go, let's look at this side by side. GJ. And let's look at the 4 hour over here, right? We would have had this zoned off already as a zone. Can extend this to the right. So we know this is an area. And we know this is another key area right here for sure, right? Let's watch what happens at these levels on those same candles. Looks like it's a little different so far because you got this 9 o'clock candle right here rejecting. This is the London candle. This is the London. This is the candle prior to London. This is near a zone low. This is near a low of a zone. This is near a high of a zone. It pushed down, rejects. No, that's a good example. It's an example for a break. In this case, you would have to use all of these candles to tell what's going on. Here's your rejection right here. Here's your rejection of this low. If you up during London, you could have used these 3 candles, right? If you up during London, now you can use this candle, and it makes sense because this is GBP pair, right? You have one of their candles, one of their the Japanese session is open during this time, so you're gonna have a little more activity in this hour candle, right? So the people in Asia said they wanted this to buy, right? The indecision came right here, the rejection came right here, and then enough buyers in London were able to push this on up, right? So in this case, here's an example when you could use the London candles and the Tokyo candles in combination. You're near a zone. I'm using these 3 4-hour candles right here. This is the opening candle, the opening market candle. This is the candle that follow that candle, which is the same candle when Tokyo and Sydney cross. And then you can use the London. This is the next time major buyers or sellers come into the market. So this makes sense. It's just applying different, it's just applying a different session because of the pair, right? This makes perfect sense. We near a zone, the 4-hour candles telling us what to do, and then we do what they tell us to do right here. On the 15-minute, what does that look like? Let's find that. Where you at? Oh, this is Owanda, that's why. This one's showing as Owanda. EVP, JPY. Forex.com, right? Yep, right here. Showed us that it rejected over here. Showing us that it's rejecting. Showing us that it's rejecting. It doesn't want to buy anymore. It pushes up, drops back down. We know we back down here. We can take this for a buy right over here. This showing us the same thing. Look at this one. Now we're near highs over here. You want to know why this sold? We're near these highs right here. These candles telling us what to do, right? Use the same logic, just different candles, right? So these candles are the candles we react to, right? We're near a zone. This opening candle for Tokyo says, for Sydney says, I want this to drop, right? This candle opens up. This says, I want this to buy, but we're near exhaustion already. So we already showing signs that this could sell, right? Plus we got this institutional candles over here. Plus we got that. So I have the candlesticks. I got a zone right here. And I already got wick rejection showing that this could push down. This is similar to why I'm in the sell on SPX right now. Not saying it's gonna do all this on SPX, but I do expect it to sell off somewhat. Like even if I get 50 pips out of this move, right? This looks similar to what I'm expecting, right? But just on a smaller time frame. And plus, there's no rejection over here. We got an initial sell off. It pushed up a little bit and may jut up one more time to drop. So far, this looks like it's reacting to that. On this day, what do we got? The opening, the next candle drops. London drops the market, but it rejects near this same place it reject from, right? So the following candle opens up, pushes up, and says it wants to buy. This one might have been a little confusing. This one might have been a little confusing. Pushed up, it dropped, then it reject over here and pushed up again. The New York opens, drops it down near these wicks, then it pushes up. Yeah, this one would have been a little confusing. I'll have to back test this one. It doesn't look too bad, but it is a little confusing on this one. But for sure, if you guys want to see it more in action, we can do some back testing. We can go back and check this out even more on some different pairs. I don't mind doing it with you guys so you can see it in action. And I'll show you one day how we live trade it. I'll show you a day we live trade. And if I'm using this, I'll tell you as well, like if I'm using this. Here's another one. London, the candle following London. And then we got the rejection right here to sell off right there. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and change the tone of the meeting. If you guys have anybody that wants to get on to that's looking to sign up, go ahead and get them on the call. I'm gonna switch it over and let me stop recording.
Corey, man, thank you